Welcome back, guys. If you missed game number 1, you missed another stomping from Griffin onto a new team that was, undefeated in series. We'll see how game number 2 does go. Chovy moves up to 115 KDA. One for the record books. Has never been this high in Korea, as he's 51, 1, and 64. Which means that even if he dies once, he still has probably the record at 50-something. But 115, I don't think it's ever been that high, LS.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate. He's going to die in this game.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, we're going to jump into...
I wouldn't bet on those odds, LS. Let's just say that.
All right, well, we are hopping immediately into pick ban for game number 2. Let's see if Chovy gets a Kali again. I hear that's a cool champion.
Just go ahead and ban it first.
And here we go, SANDBOX banning Lissandra. And now what will be Griffin's first ban of choice? Looks like the Thresh now being targeted away from Joker. Jace, interesting.
Not something you see every day in the first round of bans.
And Camille banned away. Has nothing to do with blue side, more so has to do with on fleek. I wonder if they just ban away the Lee Sin and ask him, can you play another jungle, please? Or will they ban Cassiopeia away? Although they did just show that they were willing to trade it.
I mean, Griffin, as we mentioned in the beginning, they don't really care about your Cassiopeia. You can play Cassiopeia against them, they're fine. I mean, they destroyed Ghost Cassiopeia. He was pretty much irrelevant in that game. And, okay, take a look at this. They might forego the Cassiopeia and take away the Akali in their own form of a ban by picking it themselves.
And it looked like, I mean, the way that Summit, I can't read lips, but maybe it's going to be Summit on the Akali, and I know that you are a great enthusiast of top lane Akali. No, you hate it.
What?
you hate top Akali, I get it. But Griffin, they are picking Aatrox accompanied with Sion. So that could be Aatrox jungle for Tarzan, and then Sion up in the top lane, and that would make sense as they did ban away the Darius, who does eat Sion for breakfast.
Yeah, so, also Summit loves his Darius. It's 2-0 on the pick. They don't want to hand it over to him, of course.
So top laners remaining, Urgot still on the table, Ryze if someone would want to play it, or the Akali does just go top. Vayne is not something that I think we've seen debut in top, but it is starting to make rounds, as we've seen it in mid lane as an answer to Galio in multiple regions.
Is there a world where Urgot doesn't get picked here? It looks like perhaps, as they will eventually pick up Cassiopeia. Feels like that's the latest it's been picked in a drafting phase so far here at the LCK.
And they give away Lucian and Cassiopeia. And now Ezreal being hovered by Griffin, and that is very long-range poke, and the team comp of SANDBOX thus far does not like long-range poke. And so Zoe is still on the table, and that is one of Chovy's most popular champions. Especially when he was on the rise in Korean solo queue last year. Once Zoe came out, he was such a monster on it. It's what he was known for when he was originally bursting out onto the scene as well. Zoe is the arch nemesis of that SANDBOX team composition right now, and when you pair it with Ezreal, it can definitely be a menace for this heavy engage comp to deal with if the game ever reaches a stalemate.
Feeling a ban here then, perhaps? Just take it away from him. Could happen, but they are going to target Lehens once again. Didn't really work in game number 1 where they banned out, I think it was 4 or 5 different supports, and then he just plays Lashen. So, I mean, doesn't really matter. I would like a Zoe ban, perhaps.
Thomas Kench taken off the table as Ezreal Tom Kench is in extremely safe bot lane, especially on red side. Able to play so defensively underneath that turret, and it's very difficult for junglers to be able to help out. Morgana now being banned away.
They could be giving credit for Chovy to hop onto the Sion too. You mentioned how the Aatrox could be flexed. Well, the Sion can be as well. Chovy liking to play that kind of AD carry style on that one. So we won't see any Zoe bans for now, as Nocturne as well will be taken off the table.
Nocturne's really interesting to me. They've already basically shown 2 champions that are more than capable at handling, peeling, and diving backwards for the Ezreal, and the Nocturne, I mean, at that point, you would need a really heavy magic damage dealer if you went all in like that. Griffin not wanting to conceal where the Scion Aatrox is potentially going, as they're reserving the counter pick, and that's one of the strengths of Red Side. So now when you're SANDBOX, you need a support champion and you need a jungle.
Thinking about the Galio, this would be weird.
And as I'm seeing this draft unfold, I'm really feeling the traditional Korean meta issue where historically, for years, Korea has been very slow to adapt or accept certain changes. Galio was gutted in this patch. Aatrox was hit quite significantly.
Yeah. I mean, Joker does love to play as Galio.
Yeah.
He is 2-1, so I think it's mostly just a player pick, more so than a tier pick in its strength. And feels comfortable going up against the Shen, of course. So we will see on Fleek on Lee Sin, too, once again.
This is the most mono-red team composition out of SANDBOX, and for viewers that do not understand that, basically SANDBOX only has one direction, and that is to go straight into the opponent. If you're Griffin, you pick some sort of a long-range mage that's able to defend itself, able to do something against the enemy team. Zoe is really good in a spot like this, or LeBlanc. I mean, it doesn't matter if the opponent's trying to come at you, you just W away multiple times.
Yeah.
Put the chain on one of them,
now,
tell it where to go.
It's really interesting, too, because Akali, obvious for Chovy, gets taken away. The Galio also taken off the board. Those were his 2 main picks, his 2 most played. He's played Lissandra, Scion, and Zoe once. So this is going to be the first time he goes onto the LeBlanc for this split. And I'm excited to see how his LeBlanc mechanics are nowadays, as LeBlanc is slowly becoming a more and more popular pick.
And it looks like we were potentially going to have a swap shenanigan where Cassio and Lucian went back and forth. But in the end of the day, they are now locked in. 20 seconds has passed. So it will be Cassiopeia mid lane against the LeBlanc. And we'll have to see what Chovy can do on it.
Yeah. LeBlanc, very good at not dying, as you mentioned. Very good for building up some more KDA on the side of Chovy if he's going to try to avoid death. But that's not the Chovy I know. I feel like if he gets ahead, he's going to be going straight into your face as well, saying, I could do the same on this kind of champ. Very excited to see it here.
Kali, Lee Sin, Cassio, Lucian, and Galio, they want to go hard. And they just want to fight over and over in the mid game and at first item completion. On the flip side, for Griffin, Scion, Aatrox, LeBlanc, Ezreal, and Shen definitely have some more flexibility. This team composition is a lot more mobile than the enemy team, and it's a lot more slippery. If SANDBOX commits to a fight, they have to make damn sure that they're right, because Ezreal and LeBlanc won't be held down easy.
For sure. So guys, we are going to jump into game number 2 now. SANDBOX on blue, Griffin on red. And here we are. This will be SANDBOX's last chance, potentially, to take a win over Griffin in a game, which would mean multiple things. Griffin would stay undefeated in their score, which would be 12 game wins in a row and 6 series wins in a row. And also my streak would continue. It would be another 2-0, which would be the 12th 2-0 that I've casted. I have not casted a single 2-1. Atlas has gotten all the long, pausey, delayed days. My man Atlas, poor guy. Wish I could take some of those, but I've only been casting 2-0s, Atlas.
Oh no, I'm not looking for it. I got Atlas tomorrow, so are you trying to tell me I have a 6-game day? Oh man. Well, so this is the series, Brendan. This is the game where Chovy dies.
You know, I don't think so.
You don't,
but if he does, it's he still has an opportunity to just okay, we're actually gonna have some fighting in the bottom side, just a little bit of trading back and forth, not too much to mention, but he'd still have insane KDA. He'd be at 50, or is it 60? No, it's 57.5. Yeah, 57.5. Okay, you got it. As which is still good. And even then, even if he doesn't die after that, he could even get more and more KDA and maybe make it back to his record KDA of 115, which could actually go higher before, you know, we do stop and if he does die.
Well, thus far in the laning phase, he is taking quite a hefty bit of poke here in this matchup, and his lane is not in the best of positions. You can see he's having to give up CS because he can't actually trade mana and HP against the Cassio in this position. You can see he's trying to right there, doesn't get the better end of the trade, and with more spellcasters on his side, Toby's getting zoned out of CS. This is really, really problematic for mid lane right now. And LeBlanc doesn't have teleport, barrier for Dove. This is a really rough spot to be in if you're Chovy.
Yeah, but we'll eventually begin pushing the way of Chovy here, as he'll slowly begin to get it. We all know Cassiopeia to basically win any lane. She can be a super poke-heavy lane bully style, and you don't see it as much in the bottom lane, but here in mid, you can definitely see that kind of one-on-one action. Everybody remembers FLICKR against, who was that in the mid lane? I think it was FLICKR as well, who just, you know, took Corrupting Pot and just eat his face a bunch of times up against LeBlanc. I'm going to hold that thought as Summit might be in a little trouble here. Bit of damage his way, but he should be just fine on the backside.
Nonetheless, a good prank. Prank standing for pressure gank.
Ooh,
as he's
fancy.
You like that? Well, definitely took a chunk out of Summit's HP. He is a Kali, so he will be able to try to heal that back up. He also has that Doran shield. And now the wave doesn't actually quite crash onto Chovy. Doesn't look like it's going to matter, though. Chovy looks like he just wants to CS it as fast as possible.
Tarzan coming in and saying, hey, I am the king of the jungle. I will take your blue. It is mine. And I believe that would be his third buff. Not 100% sure about that. Maybe OnFleek did go in and take the blue, as he is level 4, and there it is. Yes, he does have the blue.
Really nice pink ward, able to spot out that ward that was placed by Griffin, but they do now know where OnFleek is. And very similar, like in game number 1, OnFleek giving Tarzan rubber band camps. A little bit surprising, as it's definitely not going to impact his clear all that much. Although OnFleek does have a much cleaner route this game as he transitions to the bottom half of the map.
Ghost just pushing in the bottom side once again. Looks like it's very even so far. So not just getting that ultimate pressure that we have seen from him sometimes in that Lucian lane. Excited to see Joker back onto the Galio support as well. Is 2-1 on the pick, so has a winning rate against some pretty good teams. So trying to make this a thing in Korea, although he's one of the only guys to pick it up here in Korea.
And, oh, just missed the taunt on Lehens. They could have definitely gotten a much larger chunk on him had they hit that. Viper almost back into the lane now. First recall finally happening up in top lane. Don't believe Summit actually has to teleport to this wave. It is a cannon. He's teleporting to it anyway. Did have some excess minions, it seemed, maybe remaining.
Uh-oh, Lehens, where are you going, my friend? What was that? Just went in there and said, I don't expect there to be a Lee Sin. Didn't have the vision, there was a Lee Sin, and he died. Yeah.
And that is a really unfortunate death. Lehens has been dying quite a bit in the series, although last game his deaths were not always in vain. Take another quick look at this. He's like, oh, I'm just going to follow the friendly neighborhood Galio. He looks like he was dressed very well.
Yeah.
And then suddenly a half-naked dude just comes out of the brush. He has a bandana on.
Wait, where's this going, Alex?
Not quite sure.
I'm excited to find out. Yeah, don't follow the Debonair Galio into the brush. You will find half-naked men. That's the moral of the story. As OnFleek wants to do some more ganks looking towards the mid lane, just clearing out some vision.
And mid lane CS deficit, not to be surprising. Chovy does have the wave coming into him, so he doesn't have to panic. It does look like he will lose two more CS, and this really hurts. I mean, if you're watching this and you're wondering, well, how can I win mid lane harder? 13 CS is basically a kill. So every time you do that, you know, not even factoring in the XP, you're doing a lot of work in mid. Chovy looked like he wanted to bounce back right there with maybe a potential trade. On Fleek down here in bottom lane. Lehens is almost 6. We could start to see maybe some fireworks fly right around then. Tarzan still trying to get to level 6. On Fleek is Bennett, and now they have priority to the Infernal. Cassiopeia has priority mid lane. Summit crashing in the wave top. Tarzan can't even rotate to the right-hand side of the map. SANDBOX is creating quite sizable advantages for themselves, and we're not even in 10 minutes yet.
Tarzan trying to make his way down, but it just looks like he's going to be late as it goes to the Galio. Actually, the last bit of the Winds of War is going to pick that up. Culling comes down onto the bottom lane. Lehens loses a bunch of health. But SANDBOX not willing to continue on the following, on the trade there. They take the Infernal, and we'll be happy with that.
Looks like on Fleek. I don't know if he wants to steal the Wolves or if he's going for a play onto Chovy.
Maybe waiting for the
Oh, this is the long con. I think that they're going to go... Oh, on Fleek. This is it. Can you feel it, Brendan?
I
the
don't
blue
feel
handoff.
anything.
Oh, you can feel it.
LeBlanc's backing.
Wait, what? Why is she
Oh,
backing?
now he's seen.
Whoa,
Yep, Chovy's seen.
whoa.
Get out of here, LS.
Wait a minute, this was blue handoff timing.
I mean, it was a good idea.
This guy has a sixth sense. This is scripted. Like, not quite sure what's going on here.
Chovy knows what's what.
That is Tarzan after all. Oh, no, never mind. He's handing off to the blue. All right.
They actually took the safe way. You're right about that
safest.
The sixth sense. I mean, how do you read that? How do you just know that the Lee Sin is going to be in the brush?
If Lee Sin's not there, Tarzan's just taking a lot of damage, but maybe Tarzan's saying to himself, okay, I'm going to be recalling anyway. I don't actually need HP. Get the recall off first so you get the combat stats that you want so that you maximize the blue buff duration and effectiveness. Maybe that's what is going through their head. Ezreal ultimate spots out on Fleek.
Yeah.
Chunks him with a little bit of damage. Well, yeah, chunked him with a little bit of damage.
There was a ward near the dragon. There's a possibility that they saw him head that direction. You know, on the outskirts of that control ward, but not 100% sure about that, guys. Either way, it was nicely dodged by the side of Griffin to say we will not be killed by the half-naked man in the bush this time around.
And Sword recalling right now. He does have the Scion ultimate, so he's going to be able to get back to the lane pretty quick. Expect to hear that goon go off. Goon.
The goon? Uh-oh.
Goon. Goon? The goon? I don't...
No, you're right, but people don't know what that is. It's the Korean word for ultimate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brain just went to a different place.
Maybe next time you can join the Korean casters over there. Give them a piece of your mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chovy. Here we go.
Level 9.
Oh.
He's looking to get more aggressive now with that blue.
Oh.
Chain's coming in.
On Fleek.
Oh, boy.
The other way.
The bait is coming in
oh
with the barrier. He misses it. The follow-up with the dash. Chovy follows up, picks up the kill. And sorry, LS, the wrong mid laner goes down as Chovy once again shows us his genius.
I think he just broke his legs. Like, Dove didn't know what was going on.
He broke his ankles, man. That's like, put that on the highlight reel.
He started question mark pinging on Fleek. He's like, where are you going? When the fight's breaking out. Just take a look at this. Lee Sin's taking the long way around. Hold on, he's right here. He's like, all right, we doing this? And then Dove's like, yeah, I guess we're doing this. He stopped looking at the mini-map. Lee Sin just went to the left. And then right here, goes in, W's back instantly. Cassio screamed into nothingness, hoping that her jungler could hear it. But in the end, I mean, that was just complete outplay by Chovy. Yep. We don't get to see outplays like that happen all that often anymore in League. At least not in Korea. Very, very clean, true mechanical battle.
It's, I mean, especially the state of mid lane nowadays, you see a lot of weird tanks and lack of action. You know, it's kind of sad for mid laners, at least on a competitive level, but then you get monsters like Chovy just show up and try to redefine it and say, I'm playing LeBlanc, I'm playing Akali, I'm playing Aurelia, I'm going to get in your face. And it's just so refreshing to watch.
Yes.
It's just amazing stuff. And to have someone be this dominant and be able to get solo kills once again, mid lane kind of turned into this like passivity farm fest once again. And that just meant that we didn't get to see this too often. But Tovi's trying to bring it back in a big way.
And, you know, I was talking with Riot Maple earlier on Twitter. I had a tweet. I was trying to talk about the state of the meta right now. And, you know, this is actually a breath of fresh air because we're seeing two really powerful champions go at one another, and they're both so fragile, and it produces a type of lane experience we're not used to seeing, and FLICKR might die here.
Oh, the flash on the ultimate. That gets him away. Lahen's also peeked over the wall and ignited him just to line that one up. Ghost and Joker being chased down here as well, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for the dive just yet. But Ellis, you can continue your story.
All right, well, basically, you know, what you're mentioning is completely true. There's a lot of tanks in the mid lane right now. It's very difficult for the champions to want to fight each other because normally their spikes are so obvious.
Here we go again. Tovi just breaks his ankles again. But in he goes, trying to get the kill. Can Tovi die? It doesn't look like it, as here comes Tarzan. Don't touch my friend, says Tarzan. And Tovi won't die. Only Dove dies for a second time in this game.
Tarzan looked like he was panicked, like Tovi's KDA was. It was on the line. I've never seen an Aatrox move so quick.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Got a trade in the bottom line, too, as Lahen's getting low. Here comes the Cullen, and Viper, Lahen's getting themselves in a rough spot. There it is. The passive chunks him down. The W nearly hits him. And here we come. Sion getting on in there. Go Joker, not quite able to get the kill underneath the turret, but look at Ghost just going ham in this fight. The second he got some room, he comes in there, and I mentioned it before, definitely one of SANDBOX's big players right now and could be their way to the victory.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of advantages down here in the bottom, and that was almost a straight-up 2v2 against Viper and Lahen's. Lahen's looked like he should have died there. Just managed to escape, and really tragic. They don't end up getting the last plate.
Looks like they lost 2 there, actually, so kind of tragic, as you were mentioning, but
nonetheless, though, they are in the driver's seat still. Take another quick look at this replay. We're never going to have seen a big champion move so quick. Look at Aatrox coming from the bottom right. He is really, he's just going to come barreling out.
Him. Don't touch him. Yep.
So,
good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. And then the bottom lane trade. Really like how we cut to it so quickly. And just look at Lucian and Galio wanting to go on to Viper. Stand United came out as well as the teleport. And then right here, it looked like Joker was going to be able to kill him, but look at how much HP Lahen's had left. Really unfortunate there for Joker.
It was a one-way trip.
Yeah.
He wanted the kill big time and wanted to continue the pressure down there. Did end up getting it anyway, but did not get the kill, which means that he died in vain.
And looks like a Cloud Drake was taken by SANDBOX, and unfortunately for them, they rolled another Cloud Drake.
Yeah.
It's not the Infernal. A little bit unfortunate right there. Chovy's level 12.
I mean,
Cassio's
you know.
level 10. Better jungler wins. You
know
mid
difference or
no.
Jungle difference?
Jungle difference.
Okay. Well, he's having a fun time, that's for sure. As once again, Chovy trying to just style all over his mid lane opponents. He has been able to do it multiple times now. Summit, he's one of those other win conditions for the side of SANDBOX, but now Tarzan is in position once again. Says, get away from my friends.
And this is basically now becoming the win con where Ghost is probably the last hope right now that SANDBOX has, along with the Akali, because of how far behind Dove is on that Cassio. No, don't get me wrong. This game goes late enough. Cassiopeia will certainly be felt. Lahen's is feeling it right now.
So much. The last attack on the press of the attack nearly tunks him down, but he will live once again. As doesn't matter, you know, they're not absolutely trying to get that kill. They just want to get the turret, and that they will, as they're also attempting to reach for the Rift Herald. Here comes Chovy onto Dove, has that barrier. This time around, he is going to hit that ultimate, as Chovy will be forced to pop that passive. So nicely done by Dove. He's trying to fight back.
Yep. And finally hit that ult and managed to live right there. And it's coming at a really crucial time. They just picked up the Rift Herald, which means that Chovy's turret's going to fall. They are summoning it right away, looking to capture it and keep accelerating their gold advantage. Demolish on the turret as well. Here it comes.
Yep. Bam on in there. Oh, Chovy in a lot of trouble. Nearly gets caught on the miasma. Here's Sion into the backline. Does a huge amount of damage to Joker. Even has to flash away from that one.
Chovy
as
has
the
no HP.
Akali tries to go in, and Sword might be assassinated. Does have the stopwatch, but now miasma is a pretty good skill. Is going to be taken out as Sword, unfortunately, not able to get out after further up engaging, and SANDBOX taking a big step in the right direction to win this game.
And right now, I mean, they have a almost 4K gold lead here against Griffin, with both team comps spiking around the mid-game. So, I mean, right now, SANDBOX definitely in the driver's seat, and they're in total control. Take another look at this. Sion ultimate came in, whiffed. Lee Sin said, how about right back there where I can see you? And remember, Chovy in the backline, he doesn't really have a lot of HP to get frisky. And then right here, Cassiopeia tells Sion he might need an inhaler, as he was just breathing in some pretty poisonous miasma.
Yeah.
Ends up going down there, not able to accomplish anything else.
He almost killed Joker as the zombie Sion got close to achieving something. Did Sword on that one, but unfortunately was not able to. And so much just happened in the past 3 minutes. I mean, they go top, they chunk out Lehens, push him back, take a turret. Same time on Fleeks on the Rift Herald, they take that away. They go in for the push in the mid lane. They're able to get the turret plus a bonus kill. So SANDBOX must be feeling good right now about the last couple of minutes.
Right now, Baron must be on their mind. It's coming up in a minute. They do have Cassiopeia and Lucian and Akali. So, team composition is definitely capable of shredding it as soon as it does come up, provided that they do end up getting themselves a pick. Might want to pick themselves up the second Cloud Drake. Normally, I'm not a fan of Ocean and Cloud, but when you are getting the second of a Cloud Drake, can't say that I dislike it too much. Well, it's a bit of damage.
Yeah. You know, it's heart flutters a little bit whenever Chovy's taking damage. Summit now trying to punish him for taking that blue. Here comes the Galio, gonna pop that ultimate as, well, Sion going the wrong direction, is gonna be kicked once again into the wall to stand aside. United rather, is not gonna save his life as once again Sword will go down to the side of SANDBOX.
A little bit surprised they didn't actually let Shen finish his channel before killing the Sion. They know that he doesn't have flash, he doesn't have another way out, but nonetheless, they bring him down. Stand United wasted. And they're picking up themselves the Cloud Drake. Chovy up in top lane, looking like he wants to get that top tier 1 turret. Don't think he's going to be able to do it before Dove is able to get there. And this is really problematic right now, because you can see that while Ezreal is nearing his second core item once he completes that Monomune, other champions like Aatrox waiting on that Black Cleaver, LeBlanc waiting for a second item. SANDBOX is already at it. Taking a quick look at the replay, you can just see how powerful Akali is. And Sword ults into a wall, stops it preemptively, realized that probably wasn't the best of ideas. Stand United came in, and that was the surprising part right there, where they finish him off before letting Shen land, in which case maybe they could have chunked him or perhaps even looked to try to get his flash out of him.
Either way, it's just more good signs to the side of SANDBOX as, you know, Chovy's doing some nasty things in the mid lane, but the side of SANDBOX, they're fighting back as they want to get Sword again. They want to punish this Sion for being too far ahead. They deny the unstoppable onslaught as the chase continues, and they easily pick up another kill for Summit, who is looking mighty fine on that Akali.
Yeah, and this is sort of what I was talking about earlier on prior to game number 1, where this could be the difference or the angle that SANDBOX could try to abuse is Summit versus Sword. I don't think that you're realistically going to find advantages in the mid lane or in the jungle or likely in the bot lane, although Ghost and Joker have been doing really well this game.
Yep.
More so I was expecting to sort of see like what were happening here between the Akali and the Sion in game number 2, where Summit is just completely dominating him, and it's very easy for SANDBOX to punish him.
It's very true. It's it feels like the mid lane dominated by Chovy, but top side, it's the Summit show. Finally getting that Akali online. Ghost showing up big this time, alongside Joker's very high comfort champion on the Galio. So it feels like this might be the game where SANDBOX finally challenge Griffin and make a chance for them to win this one. You can see that Dove is really trying to set up a, just a brush play as the Cassiopeia, which is very common. They want to get on top of Chovy, but it's not quite going to happen, as Joker just laying down some extra wards. As they set up around the Baron, they want to deny as much vision as possible. But there is one sneaky ward around that area. Do they see Tarzan? Looks like maybe not. As the engage comes in, they're able to back away after that hero's entrance.
And definitely both teams looking for
Oh,
some sort of a
look
play.
at this.
Summit saying,
they want to get on Viper.
hello.
Has Summit gone too far? No, he hasn't. He's a collie. He's totally fine. Meanwhile, the mid lane turret going to go down. Ghost able to dash away from that one. And turrets and objectives are falling one after the other straight into SANDBOX's hands.
Yeah. And now we are almost at a 7,000 gold lead for SANDBOX, coupled with an Infernal Drake. Now, fortunately for Griffin, SANDBOX rolled the worst dragon in the game for them at this point, which is Ocean. So at least in that regard, they'll have a little bit of breathing room and then likely another dragon even after that before the Elder. So they can definitely still hope to hang on in the game, but what are they hanging on for? Sion is going to start slowing down after his next item. Aatrox is going to start slowing down after his next item. LeBlanc is basically going to be the next, start slowing down as well after her next item. And Ezreal will peak after his next item. So really, there's not really a glimmer of hope for them as this game continues on, and Baron becomes a very real threat that they're going to have to come up with an answer to.
Not sure that they have one. Their side ward goes down. The vision now is being cleared. And you mentioned the Baron speed. They would have loved a Mountain just to, snipe the Baron essentially away from Griffin before they can do anything at all. But didn't roll the correct Drakes, I suppose. They have Cloud for the extra movement speed, the engage potential, stuff like that. Makes Akali pretty nice as well, but can't quite chunk down the Baron as fast with their nice Baron speed composition as they would have liked. So we'll have to wait and see how they handle that kind of a objective. And also, can Chovy do enough in the side lane to somehow pull SANDBOX apart and help his team come back in this game?
Well, if Griffin is going to come back, it's probably going to be on the back of some sort of a Baron steal or just Chovy getting some sort of an assassination followed up into a 5v4. Unless Viper would go absolutely God mode on an Ezreal inside of a fight. Can't realistically see how they can deal with this. And we're also starting to see one of the problems with the Griffin team composition when their back's against a wall, which is there's no answer to the Akali. Because she can keep healing up against this Sion, he can't sustain against her long enough, and it just adds this pressure of, well, eventually a side lane turret's gonna fall.
Yeah. Well, LS, you got your dice ready? You got your playing cards out? Let's see what it's gonna be. What do they roll? It's a Cloud Drake. As no Mountain, no Infernal for the side of SANDBOX. They wanted to kill that ASAP so they could make another Drake spawn before the Elder, but they didn't quite get the correct one. But they are going to be very fast, at least. Can get on top of Griffin extremely quickly.
Can't actually imagine how it feels to move around with 3 Cloud Drakes if they do end up getting it. They're going to feel like lightning moving around the map, and Cassiopeia must be loving it. This is the champion that can't get boots at all, unless you're named Trainwrecks. Well, it's the only time that you can get boots on Cassio, so. Well, oh, Lehens.
Okay. As OnFleek's taking a journey into the jungle. Lehens totally fine to just taunt away, dash to safety, no problem for him. SANDBOX continued to just deny and choke out all the vision in this side of the jungle and just corral Griffin up into the top side of this map.
can see that SANDBOX seem to be taking this very, very slow and careful. They don't want to blow a lead. And look at that pressure.
Here we go. Okay, no vision.
Yep.
And you can't really deal with that already. The Scion is at half health. Can he even TP into a fight like this? Is a big question as they back off
safe.
of it. Okay.
Yeah, well, look at what Akali's doing in the bottom left.
Yeah.
She almost has that turret. It's just going to be a few more hits.
Just getting on top of it. Now Lahens is going to be chunked down. The House of Cards is fallen one by one as Toby, he misses the chain. That might have been the extra amount of damage to get the kill. And that would have been huge to snipe the jungler at this point in the game.
And it looks like Akali finally going to penetrate that turret.
Oh, they're trying to go onto the Akali right now. We'll have to see that in the big screen as it's 3 members trying to get down in there, but here comes Galio. We're getting the zoom out. It's now Viper's too low to help out in the fight. Do they have enough damage to even take out Summit at this point? Lahen's got to be careful. There's the two-shot barrage, but here comes Ghost. Culling comes out. Good flash from Lahen's to safety. So much action on the map. Chovy has to get to safety, but look at this. SANDBOX, they chunk out everybody, and now they're going to get an inhibitor.
Yeah, and it looks like now with that bottom lane inhibitor, that's the strongest inhibitor in the game, furthest proximity from Baron. Definitely going to be extremely helpful because now this means that Akali can be present at the Baron rather than having to be splitting away from Sion. So now they can make a play where they pull all the members to Baron, draw the teleport out of Sword, back off of Baron, say, no, you know what, we're actually not going to do it. And Sword, you have to go back to the base and handle the super minions. Then he doesn't have teleport to come to the Baron. Then they repeat the same exact play 45 seconds later. And what does Griffin do? It's almost going to be like checkmate.
That's what they're trying to force. They want to force that situation where there is really no win condition for the side of Griffin. They're not willing to take any risky Barons because they don't have to. They don't have to rush anything. They can just wait and let Summit get down there, continuous push, and continue being a huge nuisance in the backside of Griffin right here. So will they ever make a move towards this Baron? Before that happens, now we do have Summit grouping up towards the Baron. Could it potentially also look for a pick into a play on the Baron? You could see that Summit moving on in himself.
Well, now at this point, Cassiopeia does almost have an item completion. I would actually be surprised to see if SANDBOX looks for a fight. They might wanting to be Captain Careful and just go for the next Cloud Drake to force the Elder to spawn.
Here we go. They see Ghost dash the wall, though, with that one ward, so Griffin should absolutely know about this. In goes Dove, but here's Chovy trying to do the damage. Summit getting relatively low, but he wants to get that assassination onto Lahens and push him, but there goes Chovy trying to take him out. Not quite able to do it himself. Ghost still on the Baron.
There it is. There's the teleport.
Yep, there's the TP. Joker getting
low.
Yep. Chovy getting on into the Baron pit, and they officially get the boy. Oh, that was so close. Nearly able to chunk down Summit away from that one. And the fight goes on long enough for Griffin to actually push them away.
And you have to give credit to Griffin. They waited as long as they could to call that Scion teleport in. Had they called it in earlier, SANDBOX, it wouldn't have been as close. They definitely wouldn't have brought some of the SANDBOX members close to death. Griffin waited as patiently as they possibly could, brought him out into the teleport, and now Scion doesn't have teleport. So now the real problem begins when the same exact play happens after they get this Cloud Drake, and then what's the play? This time, Dove's going to have blue buff on him. He just recalled. He got the Leandri's Torment. Scion doesn't have teleport. How does he come to the fight? Super Minions provide a real threat now to the Nexus.
You see just how slow a Scion has to deal with Super Minions in the bottom side. He's just a turret, basically. He just stands there. That's his job. And Cloud Drake goes to the side of SANDBOX, which means that Elder spawns in 5 minutes, so another timer for SANDBOX. As Chovy just checking the wall, and SANDBOX really trying to make this happen in the enemy jungle.
See the ping onto Scion. Someone definitely was pinging him. They do still have, I think, 2 waves of super minions before the inhibitor comes back.
Uh-oh, Tarzan gonna be forced to blow his ultimate as Summit just takes him from 100 to 0 so fast. Has to flash away. Chovy trying to get on top of Dove. It's 3-on-2. He's trying to chunk him out, but Tarzan, one more Q will do it. It's on fleek. Comes from behind and gets the kill. In goes Lahens as Chovy tries to chunk away those super low health members. But Ghost, still very healthy in the backside, is able to do that damage. Chovy still not able to find a kill as 2 members of Griffin go down, and SANDBOX want to go for the push.
Looks like SANDBOX, they are posturing around.
They're going. It's actually 3 kills. It's 5-on-2. Can they get it? That's the big question.
This is how you lose games, Brendan.
It's really risky, but it could be the moment. Chovy trying to do that AoE damage, clear out the minions. They take out one, and now they just don't have minions because Chovy sniped them.
The inhibitor's respawning in bot. Okay, well, they're going to get the mid inhibitor anyway.
Yep, mid inhibitor first. Miss on the True Shot Barrage. That means that the 1 inhibitor does go down, and at the end of that crazy monk-esque fight, SANDBOX do run away with another inhibitor.
We'll take another quick look at this. You can see Summit just gets right onto Tarzan. And Chovy trying to come in. I think he wanted a 3-man W there, but not able to get it. Looked like Ghost was actually going to almost be able to bring him into death range.
On fleek, so
yeah.
Good, man. He's so clean.
Ghost dealing so much damage right there to Sword, and then it was just basically run for the hills if you're Griffin. And Griffin made a call to try to immediately end the game. And it was definitely close, but definitely uncharacteristic with how they've played the rest of this game. Now, the problem here is that mid inhibitor isn't as problematic as bottom lane inhibitor, and the reason for that is because you're always in close proximity to the mid wave when you're posturing around the Baron.
Exactly.
So, at this point, it's a lot easier for Griffin to handle this. And when Sion fixes the bottom wave and gets a slow push going, it's very easy for him to stand in mid lane and then ult to the Baron without having to do NASCAR racing or something.
They're going on into this one over the wall, but it's immediately spotted by a blue trinket. They know about this, but Dove, he's getting so big on that Cassiopeia. Do they have an option to get on into this one? It doesn't look like it. Tarzan thinking about it, but it doesn't look like anybody on the side of Griffin will even make a chance to get on in there. They're going to give away the Baron, and SANDBOX take that huge objective.
Really, really patient play out of Griffin here. It looks like they're saying, you know what, we're not going to fight over this. We're going to try to fight over the Elder. And the rationale behind that could be, if they can clear out the minion waves, you'll notice that there's only one that realistically SANDBOX should be able to utilize, because the one with Cassiopeia top right now, that's going to be cleared out by Chovy, most likely. If they win the smite fight on the Elder, and they get the passive buff from the Elder Dragon, that's the greatest possible chance to win the game, especially because the Ezreal is able to dish out that damage so reliably. It truly is probably the greatest percentage chance when compared with Baron, and that's such machine-like play.
Well, they're known for that, LS. That's what they do. They have it trained into their blood how to react in certain situations.
Well, we'll see if they are able to even get to that point, as SANDBOX don't look too concerned with the Elder. Escorting the top minion wave, they're going to get a crash onto this, as Summit will be the one escorting the super minions in mid lane.
Chovy still trying to find an assassination on the LeBlanc. Can't be split pushing now, obviously. Has to stop this push. There's still 2 minutes of Baron left available. It's so hard to deal with that. Summit running on in, taking very aggressive trades with Sword. Not scared to go for it. The culling just to zone everybody out. Viper getting solo, as well as Sword actually on the miasma. In goes the flash taunt, but there is no follow-up actually. There's the taunt, they get Joker. Do they have a follow-up? They want to get into this fight. Chovy not quite able to assassinate. They're coming back. Summit can't take him out though. Sword gonna stay alive to stand united for quite a while, but it's not enough to keep him alive as he does go out. Chovy desperately trying to get some help and return to the fight. They're going for the turret. Chovy looking for it into the back line. Dove getting low. The chains land onto on fleek. Chovy gets that W back. There is the Shuriken. Can he continue onto him? This is on a nice set.
Whoa!
They're bringing him into the Fountain Summit. Can you get out of
Right
there?
this
You
way.
can. Oh no! Summit goes too far, but they're trying to get the Nexus, but it might be too much. They're not able to get on top of it. Ghost trying to get on top of the hens here, and he is going to be chunked down, but in goes Toby, in goes Viper. Can they take him out? No! Dubbin on Fleek, stay alive, and SANDBOX Gaming take the first game against Griffin. What an unbelievable finish. Oh.
No, Chovy! Well, I told you, Brendan, he was going to die this game.
There it
and
was.
when he died, the Nexus died. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Oh, what a game. What a finish. Imagine if Toby and Viper win the 2v2. Maybe they keep the Nexus alive and maybe they have a chance to come back in that game, but no.
Well,
it wasn't meant to be, and Toby and the rest of them go down. His KD will be halved, but the thing I'm more excited about is the fact that finally Griffin has been chunked down. They take a loss, but it took so much, LS. You know,
yes.
It was so patient.
Yes,
There
and
were no risks once they got ahead.
yeah, there were no risks until the very end, which is the most concerning. They were so captain careful up until the very end. They were the person that puts like plastic on the furniture and everything.
Yeah.
They were so slow and patient with everything, but right at the end, they were taking the gamble plays. It looked like they were getting to them, and it looked like Griffin was going to actually hang on, maybe get the Elder, and then turn the game around.
When Summit dove the fountain?
Yeah, Chovy said right this way.
Yeah.
Scorpion
Oh,
himself. That's a Mortal Kombat spoiler. So, I don't know. Now, however, Griffin, this is the first time they've lost. This is such a momentum swing for SANDBOX.
Yeah.
Maybe the mental of Griffin is actually impacted for the first time. And it could mean that game number 3 is going to be exciting. There's a lot changing today. You're going to a game number 3.
I know,
Griffin's
first time.
going to a game number 3.
I'm happy to go to game 3 for this series. This is the one that should have the game 3, as I will welcome it with open arms. Give me another game, a SANDBOX versus Griffin. That was unbelievable finish.
Yep.
Wow.
What a good game. So we will, I think, be back shortly. I don't know
Yeah,
what to expect for game number 3.
We're going to show some
check out
stats
though.
and see how that game went. As you can see, Ezreal does a lot of damage, but it really was the Ghost and Summit show. Those two guys, we mentioned how they are win conditions just as players. Coming out of nowhere, stepping up big time. They are a big part of the reason why SANDBOX is even able to step up to the plate up against Griffin in the first place. Summit's Akali, really on point until he, dove the fountain.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, Dove and Ghost able to take that 2v2 down to the slivers of health, and they make it happen, and they actually take a win. They make the God bleed. They make the Immortal of Griffin bleed. It actually happened, guys.
Yeah, and, like what I was trying to talk about prior to game number 1, Summit might be one of the legitimate keys because Sword is the weak link of Griffin. Griffin is like a super machine, and the only weak part that might be, defunct is that top lane component, and that might be the real angle where they can try to work it to get a win.
They get Summit onto an Akali, they get him onto a carry, and he does exactly that. Can they do it again? Can they make them bleed a second time? Find out after the break.